Hello and welcome back to another episode of Maths with Mr. Mitchell. In today's video, we're going to look at how we can graph or how we can find the gradient of any straight line when we know two given points. And before we start looking at these questions, it's important to just review what we should already know, that for any straight line, if it's got a steepness, we should know that the steepness is given by this this letter of m. So m stands for the steepness, or some of you may also know that that stands for the gradient of a straight line. And so any gradient, if I was given the graph, I could calculate by looking at the change in the x with the change in the y. And some of us know that we could write this as rise over run. If we can draw the graph, if we've got the graph and we can draw in our little nice right angle triangle below it or above that line. But we can also use this key formula, which is the difference in my two y values of any coordinate and the difference between my x values of any coordinate. And this is the key rule that we're going to explore today. So the first question we've got here is that the gradient of a line passing through the points A 210 and B 725. So we're going to use this key formula to look at if I've got my gradient formula, which is the difference between my y values over the difference between the x values. It then raises to the point that I need to always identify which are my x1 values and my y1 values and then my x2 values and then my y2 values. So I can just label it here. So I'm going to call this x1, this is y1, this is x2, and this is y2. And then we just simply substitute into the formula. So I've got y2 is 25 minus y1, which is 10, divided by 7 minus 2, which gives us 15 over 5, which is 3. So we have a gradient of 3, which is the gradient of the line passing between these 2 points. And what that means, this gradient of 3, is that if I go across 1 unit in the x direction, I will go up 3 units in the y direction. So my line is very steep, and it's also positive. So the next question, we go about the same thing. I label my points. I'll call this x1, y1, x2, y2, and then we simply substitute into our formula. So our key formula is m equals the difference between our y values over the difference between our x values. And so now we just substitute. Y2 is 0 minus 10 over 2 minus, and these are my best friends, brackets are my best friends when I'm dealing with any directed numbers. So 2 minus minus 3, and we get minus 10 divided by 2 minus minus 3 becomes 2 plus 3, so we get 5, and minus 10 divided by 5 is minus 2. So what that means is my gradient passing of the line passing between these 2 points is minus 2. So that means that for every 1 unit I go across in the x direction, I go down 2 units in the y direction. So again, it's quite a steep line, and it's also sloping down, which is a negative line or steepness. All right, thanks very much. Have a great day.